UFC 295 is coming up this weekend, and guys, today I have the complete betting guide for you with timestamps, by the way, if you'd like to skip to any particular part of the video. We're going to get into it in just a minute. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels, and welcome back to another complete betting guide. This time, of course, for UFC 295, Procházka versus Pereira. We're going to go through the confident picks. We're going to go through underdog opportunities. We are going to go through fights that you should not be betting on. Typically, we have lock of the week, but I will say, guys, this is a very, very tricky betting card. I do not have a lock of the week for you this week. I'm not confident in one single fighter enough to say, you know what, this is pretty close to 100% as you can get. So no lock of the week this week, but of course we will talk about potential parlays for fun at the end of the video. Let's get into it with the confident picks. Guys, the first confident pick I have for you is going to be Alessandro Costa. Now, I will say I have been very impressed by both of these fighters, and I believe both of these fighters do have a bright future in the flyweight division in the UFC, but there is one reason why I do think Alessandro Costa is going to win this fight, and I will say, by the way, this isn't going to be a complete breakdown of every single fight. I'm just going to give a brief idea of why it's a confident pick of mine. If you're interested, I have a full card breakdown video. You can check that out where I dive a lot deeper into it. But Steve Erceg does nothing to check leg kicks, and who has great leg kicks and utilizes them very well in the striking game? Alessandro Costa. Other than that, I think they are kind of evenly contested, but I do think that solely because of the leg kicks and Steve Erceg just willing to eat them and walk forward, I think Alessandro Costa will utilize that and actually really put a damper on the pressure that Steve Erceg could put on. I believe Alessandro Costa is going to win a comfortable decision in this fight. The next confident pick for you I have is Jamall Emmers. Now, Jamall Emmers, you might look at him with a 19-7 record and go, you know what, it's Jamall Emmers. But Jamall Emmers is much better than his record shows. He has taken on, and his losses have aged very, very well. This dude has taken on very great fighters in the featherweight division, And Dennis Brazuca, now, while he does have a little bit of potential, he's had one fight in the UFC so far, and he lost that fight and didn't necessarily look good in that fight. It was a very slow-paced fight. A lot of fighters, in my opinion, would have beat Sean Woodston in this matchup, so I haven't been impressed from anything that I've seen from Dennis yet, and that's why I'm going to pick Jamall Emmers in this fight, a guy who I know that he can hang in there with the best of the best, a guy that I know can fight and win against great competition. I just don't think Dennis is at that level yet, and for that reason, I'm picking Jamall Emmers. All right, guys, let's talk about some underdog opportunities, and it is important to note, as always, these aren't necessarily my picks to win the fight. These are just saying, like, if you're looking through the entire card, these are the underdogs that I could see actually beating the favorite in this fight. Like, it would not shock me at all if the underdog won this fight. For example, I'm picking Benoit Saint-Denis to win this fight, but I'm staying away from it, and I would not be shocked at all if Matt Frevola takes the win, because first of all, Matt Frevola has the power that can knock out anybody in the lightweight division. For real, he's the guy that cracked the chin of Drew Dober. The untouchable chin in Drew Dober, he cracked it. Benoit Saint-Denis, okay? I've been really worried about the way he approached his last fight, and I mentioned this in my full card breakdown video. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I believe Benoit Saint-Denis is buying into his own hype a little bit. And that's not to say like he's walking around like he's the best thing ever. I believe that he's starting to think he's untouchable in the cage because with each fight, I see him getting a little bit more reckless. For example, his most recent performance against Thiago Moises. He ate a lot of shots in that fight when he didn't need to. He wasn't moving his head when he should have. Maybe like the past Benoit Saint-Denis might be using some of those opportunities to like, hey, maybe I'll make him think about a takedown. Maybe he'll throw a feint. But instead, he kind of just made the fight chaotic. And I believe he's starting to think, like, for his nickname, the God of War, he's starting to feel a little bit untouchable, and that's really worrying me, especially when you have a guy like Matt Frevola. Matt Frevola already has the power to knock anybody out lightweight, and if you're standing there in Benoit Saint-Denis and you're doing your thing and you're just there to get hit, it will only take one shot for Matt Frevola to win. So I really do believe Matt Frevola is a live underdog here. Out of all the underdogs on the card, I could see Matt Frevola winning. I think skill to skill, Benoit Saint-Denis should win. But Matt Frevola, at the time of recording this video, Matt Frevola is sitting at a plus 250 underdog. I think that's great value. I might just touch it just because I love his chances for the fight, but it's a tough one. I just do not be shocked at all if Matt Frevola ends up pulling this off. Now, the other underdog opportunity I have for you guys is actually Jessica Andrade. Now, this underdog opportunity, don't get me wrong, I'm picking Mackenzie Dern, okay? I think she's going to win the fight, but there is a world where Jessica Andrade has that power for this division, and she can catch Mackenzie Dern. Now, Mackenzie Dern has a beautiful ground game, and we've seen Jessica Andrade controlled on the ground, especially in her most recent fights. Mackenzie Dern has been notoriously having horrible takedowns in her career, so I could see her shooting for one of those poor takedowns, trying to get close to Jessica Andrade, trying to get this fight to the ground, and Jessica Andrade cracking her because she does have power in this strawweight division. It's important to note Jessica Andrade is fighting at strawweight where she is her most powerful. Jessica Andrade she's also like gotten destroyed in her last few fights, but take a look at these opponents. They're better than Mackenzie Dern in my opinion. They're much better than Mackenzie Dern. I would not be shocked at all if Jessica Andrade ended up clipping Mackenzie Dern on the way in. The power was too much for Mackenzie Dern to handle. Do I think she'll handle it? Yes, but there is absolutely a world where Jessica Andrade gets up on top here and shocks the world. At the time of recording this video, Jessica Andrade is a plus 262 underdog. So that is really, really good value. Plus, it's WMMA. Anything can happen, right? All right, guys, let's talk about some fights to avoid. These are fights, in my opinion, that you should not be betting on. Now, this whole card's a little bit tough. This whole card's a little bit touchy, so keep that in mind when you're betting on the entire card. But there are 3 fights that really stand out to me when we're talking about fights that you shouldn't bet on. The first being Kung Yo Hang taking on John Castaneda. I don't have too much to say about this besides I think that they are a little bit similar in skill level. That's honestly, there's not too much to break down in there. I think they're both kind of at the same point in their career. They kind of have the same, the record stacks up the same. Both of them fought kind of the same level of competition, in my opinion. They're in a division that's very tough. I just think that the skill level is pretty even there. So I'm going to stay away from this fight. The next fight I think you should completely stay away from is Sergey Pavlovich taking on Tom Aspinall. Now, both fighters have such a clear path to victory. I mean, both fighters could knock each other out. Tom Aspinall could take it down to the ground. Tom Aspinall could leave his chin up in the air. Sergey Pavlovich could just absolutely crack him. Tom Aspinall could try to take it to the ground. Sergey could just outmuscle him completely. This is a long story short, guys. There are way too many variables on how this fight can go. And I have no clue. I think this is a true pick'em fight. I think this is about as 50-50 as you could get. The skill level is even. While you could argue like maybe Tom Aspinall has the better stand-up technique, his chin's out in the air, and therefore a guy like Sergey to box his face off, clock him with one shot. So I really, really see different paths to victory for both fighters, and I think this is a true pick'em fight. Stay completely away from this. Out of every fight on the card, I think you're crazy if you're betting on this one. And guys, the last fight that I don't think you should bet on is Yuri Procházka versus Alex Pereira. And that being both guys, there's a little bit of asterisk coming in. So Yuri Procházka is coming off of that incredible shoulder injury. So we don't know how he's going to come into it. Is his shoulder going to work the same? Is it going to be in the back of his head? Is it going to affect his performance? Is he going to have an issue throwing it? We don't know. I'm not saying any of this will happen. I'm just saying we don't know. And that's a reason why I'm staying away from this. Another reason is Alex Pereira. He's only had one fight in MMA at light heavyweight, and that was at Elevation, and that was against Jan Blachowicz, which he looked, I believe the elevation got to him because it didn't look like Alex Pereira there. So we don't know how good he is at light heavyweight yet. You could talk about his kickboxing days, but this is an Alex Pereira in MMA who's 36 years old. I need to see one more performance from him at light heavyweight to really gauge how he's going to do, because that fight against Jan Blachowicz could have lost it, and he looked very slow, very poor in that fight, okay? Could be his age catching up with him. We don't know. My whole point with this is that there are a bunch of asterisks when you're taking a look at this fight. But even if both fighters are coming in perfectly healthy, okay? Yuri's a wild guy. He can come in and just do the spinning elbows, attack absolutely everywhere, right? Even if he wants to take it to the ground, and he could find success in doing that. But then Alex Pereira could also catch him while he's spinning and stuff. He's that type of kickboxer that can catch you doing that stuff. This is also close to a pick'em fight in my opinion. Just because the injuries and how I haven't seen Alex Pereira at light heavyweight, I think you should also stay away from this fight. Now, guys, apologies to put on a pause to the video here. We're going to get into the potential parlay section in just a second, but I do want to say, if you are interested in seeing the plays that I am officially going to be placing, every single Thursday or Friday, I post them in the community tab for channel members. If you are interested, take a look at the channel member. Every single UFC event, sometimes for one championship in LFA as well, and if there's a Bellator event, I might sprinkle a little bit on something. So whatever I'll be betting on, I will be posting in the community tab for those who are interested. I do my very best to play it safe with my betting, so I typically make I'm not saying like I come out here, I bet on underdogs, I make like a huge profit. I'm safe. I do the safe bets. I make a little bit of a profit each week, and I can't remember the last time that I was down on money. So if you're interested, join the membership on the channel in the community tab. I will be posting my official plays there every week. All right, guys, let's talk about some potential parlays just for fun here. Now, it is important to note, like I said, this is a very, very tough week for betting. I don't see myself placing a lot of bets this week specifically, but let's do it for fun. Let's do some stuff for fun. Now, if you want to take a look at the big underdogs here, I might just do this for fun, to be honest with you. Matt Frevola, Jessica Andrade together. Two underdogs that I can see hitting that 7 times your money almost. That is crazy. But if you guys don't know, if you don't follow the channel, I am a big fan of 1.5 rounds, so that's something I will absolutely be looking to. I can very well see the Jamal Emmers fight going to 1.5 rounds. Absolutely Jared Gordon and Mark Madsen going 1.5 rounds. Joshua Van I could also see going 1.5 rounds. This one for sure going 5 rounds. You know what? Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini could, because of the technique difference there. You could do just the WMA fight going 1.5 rounds. Like, I could very well see all these fighters. So the lines aren't out, but I would put those together just to see what comes up. But other than that, like, man, absolutely staying away from these. Absolutely staying away. Actually, like, these 3 down here. Other than that, so let's take, like, Jamal Emmers. Let's take, where is Diego Lopez? I love Diego Lopez right here, man. I really, really like Diego Lopez. So even putting Jamal Emmers and both Diego Lopez together is plus 270. That's really, really nice. That's really nice here. Other than that, like, this is so tough, man. Like, this entire card, like, I'm even thinking, like, all the stuff I could put together, but even if I want to start doing, like, I think Sadikov will win the fight. I think Joshua Van will win the fight, but even that, I'm not overly confident. Let's go with, like, some random picks, okay? So, like, Jamal Emmers, maybe. I don't like this fight. Like, no, I'm going to go Joshua Van. I'm going to go with Benoit Saint Denis. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. Nazim Sadikov, Lupi Godinez, Diego Lopez, Mackenzie Dern. That's 20 times your money, but that's, like, really risky territory. There is not a lot to work with this week, guys. There's not a lot to work with. So I'll probably do a couple 2-fight parlays. Honestly, I might stick to singles. Like, I probably stick to single Benoit Saint Denis. I like Diego Lopez. I will absolutely be touching Diego Lopez. That's just a gut feeling that I have, just like I said. But even if you want to, like, just because my gut feeling, sprinkling Diego Lopez and like a Nazim Sadikov type thing, I don't mind that. That's 4 times your money. But there are value in just betting singles this time around. So I'm probably, for the most part, going to stick around with the 1.5 round bets. But yeah, very, very tricky week of betting, guys. But with that being said, though, guys, that puts an end to this video today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are interested, check out the channel membership, but I appreciate you being here either way. Let me know if there are any fights that you will be betting on down below. What do you think about my picks? Let me know again, and thank you so much for watching on the screen right now. If you'd like to continue watching the Clenbat channel, there'll be 2 videos on screen for you to check out right here. I will see you either there or in the next video, guys. Take care.